I'm back. That last video that I put on cut off pretty quickly. It run out. What do you call it? Run out. Memory card thing. So, what I'm going to talk about, it's 1 minute past 7 on Friday. I've been driving for 3 hours, so I'm not far away now. Soon be home. What I would like to talk about is anybody what wants to join funeral industry, what I'm a part of, and I have been for 20 years. I honestly believe that we don't choose to go into industry. I believe that it's a calling that chooses us. It's a bit like, because I'm a Catholic, it's a bit like priesthood. I was going to be a priest, but it didn't call me. I sat next to a lass who had a top open when I was 14, and that called me more than being a priest. So I ended up being an undertaker. But joking aside, I'm not joking there, I mean it. Anybody what would like to go into the funeral industry, my advice is follow your dream. And I know to some people it's not a dream, it'd be an absolute and utter nightmare, because we see things that is absolutely unimaginable to most people, and we deal with things that is would give people trauma, and we do that on a daily basis. I know someone once says to me, do you want to come and watch this horror film with us, Mick? And you know, it's really good, scary. And I thought, well, I didn't want to be funny, but I just, what planet are these people on? You know what I mean? No, horror films don't really don't scare me at all. Living scares me, dead don't scare me at all. When somebody's passed away, they've passed away. They don't frighten me. What does frighten me as a funeral director is seeing what one human being will do to another human being. That scares me. I've dealt with more people who's been stabbed to death, shot, beaten to death, strangled. I've dealt with some horrific endings to some people's lives, and it's that don't actually touch sides with me. That's all right, I can deal with that. What does get to me is the fact that one human being can inflict that on another person. That scares me, proper scares me. I looked after two. I can't go into what I've done because obviously, oh look there, two and all, 2 in 1. Unbelievable. There's another one coming up at a rate speed now. I have to be careful because these are potential customers if I'm not careful. So I'm looking ahead all the time to make sure the road's clear. It can't overtake me here, but once I've got to a clear bit, right, I'll pull in, let him go round me. Cheers. I've dealt with people that's come off motorbikes, so I'm always conscious and wary, because he's got a family at home, that kid. Anyway, back to what I was saying. I looked after 2 children who were murdered by a person who should have been willing to give their own life for them 2 kids, their own mother, who decided to murder them. One were I think they were 15 and 13-year-old, two lads. And my mortuary manager, Dave Emmingham, it had such an effect on him that he needed counselling, really, after it. It were horrendous. So that's the sort of thing that we deal with. But that's the downside to the job. The upside to it is, if you've got, let's just say you're GG, if you've got a calling, a passion, you want to do something in industry, my advice is go and speak to your local independent funeral directors. Tell them that, you know, you're interested and you want to make a difference. They might not have a vacancy there and then, but it's worth getting your name out there, definitely. A little bit most rewarding, satisfying thing that you'll ever do. Because when we meet a family and they're at the lowest point of their lives, when they've just lost somebody, and you basically walk with that family through that, it's like a valley of death, I suppose you could say. It's a lonely, long path that people have to walk when somebody's died. But to be privileged to actually be a part of that is something that you'll never forget. It's, I can't begin to tell you, I can't begin to explain enough how rewarding it is. And people think, wow, they do it for money. Well, I'm going to be right straight and honest with you. If you're the funeral director and you own the business, then yeah, not going to lie, the money side of it, it's good. I'm not going to lie to you. That's not why I do it. I decided to set up myself because I got sick of seeing how other people cut corners, take frills off coffins and all that, and I thought, this just isn't what I want. I chose to do this because I'm passionate about it. When we bring someone into our care, although our call-out vehicle carries blankets and pillows, we usually ask the family, if somebody's laid on their own bed, would you like us to wrap them up in their own blanket, bottom sheet, and use their own pillow, and that stays with them. Little things mattered so much. If I meet a family and we're talking about the dad being dressed in his own clothes, I'll say I can take them back with me, because we like to get people dressed and ready for their own dignity as soon as possible. But don't forget his underwear, because I don't want to see George in 2 weeks' time when I have an heart attack, or 2 years' time, or 22 years' time in spirit world, and I don't want George to say, "Nanny Michael, because they have spent eternity with no boxer shorts on." So it's a little thing, but it bothers me. I think that's something to do with my mental health. My advice as a funeral director for anybody wanting to go into an industry would be to follow that calling, because I honestly believe you've not chose that. I honestly believe that that's chose you. So go and speak to your local independent funeral directors, ring them up, make an appointment, go and see them, ask to look round the premises, let them show you everything that they do, and they will do. They should, if they're proud of the premises and what they do, they should invite you in and say, look, we'll take you through what we do, the process. You probably won't see anybody who's passed away, because obviously people have, well, it's just, you won't want your own family to be stared at and all that. but at least you'll see the mortuary, the fridges, the embalming theatre. You'll see all the equipment that we use. You'll probably see cars in garage. It'll be a couple of hours worth spending. If your local independent funeral directors hasn't got time for that at that time when you want to do it, maybe speak to your co-op and Dignity. Have a chat to them. I'm not a massive fan of co-op and Dignity, I'll admit that. The workers who work for them are fantastic. I'm not knocking the workers are absolutely amazing. In fact, I've got friends at Dignity, Lynn and Tom used to work there, and they've worked there most of their lives, and they're more passionate than most independent funeral directors. Lynn Grieverson's an absolutely amazing lady, and she's coming up to retirement age now, but she spent her working life in the funeral industry. Biggest majority of it, in fact most of it, all of it I would say, for Dignity. But speak to people like that and just say, I'd like just to come and I'm interested in doing, choose something. Don't, I get people ring me up saying, I want to be a funeral director. Well, alright, give me £4.5 million and buy a company off me then. Because that's how you become a funeral director. Choose what you want to do in industry. Do you want to own the business? Brilliant. Fetch me £4.5 million, it's yours. Not a problem. You can be funeral director. If you don't want to do that, you might want to be a driver bearer, driving limousines or hearse, carrying coffins. You might want to be a funeral arranger, going out, meeting families, having a chat to them, discussing what they want for the funeral. So that's a funeral arranger. You might want to work in mortuary, like my mortuary manager, Dave Emmingham. Dave, it's not very often he goes out at all. He's mainly in the mortuary and getting gentlemen dressed and ready. You may want to do what Cheryl and Paula does, where if a lady comes into care, they do their hair and the makeup, because a bloke can't do a woman's hair. Well, they can, but it just don't look right. And a lady having her hair washed when she's passed away is so important. Go on, say it. Why? Well, it's one of the main things about a woman, isn't it? They don't go out with mucky hair. They nearly all have their hair washed when they're going anywhere, and they take a lot of pride in their hair, a woman. So that's why when a lady comes into care, her hair's always washed. It's important. It's very, very important, that part of the service that we do. Choose what you want to do. So do you just want to work behind, I'm saying just, it's so important, in reception? Do you want to be doing paperwork? Paula on our reception, she's our coordinator. So her job, so she answers phone, she speaks to families when somebody's just passed away. It's a really difficult job and all. You see me on here and I'm just normal. Don't know if I should use that phrase, should I? But what you see with me is exactly what you get. But obviously when I'm speaking to a family who's just lost a loved one, you don't, how can I say this? Yeah, I'm at Hawes, so I'm not far from home, so I'm going to end it in a bit. I'm just letting him come round because he was flashing his lights for some reason. Obviously in a rush. You have to watch every word you say. You have to be so careful about what you say, because you can say simplest thing, but it can be turned and took wrong way. when a family's grieving or someone's lost a loved one, we call them celebrants, like Lisa Scott, David Armstrong. They're celebrants. Simon Oakes, fantastic celebrants. How they do a funeral is a celebration of life. So they stand up and talk about, they go and meet family, then they stand up. This is Hawes where I am at the moment now, so I'm not far. I'm about 15 minutes from home. What they do, they're all outside drinking. Look at them all, unbelievable. Makes me sick, it does, honestly. Look at Q for chip shop, best chip shop in thingy, that one. Look at Q, queuing down road for chip shop. Come back to me. It's a right chip shop, that one in Oz. Amazing. We've got best chip shop in Dales. Our fuel prices 7.9, because it's owned by local people here, the fuel. Amazing garage. I'm gonna have to go this way because that road's shut. Speak to your co-op, speak to your Dignity. They'll help you, they'll guide you as much as they possibly can. And they're always, I mean, independents normally have the staff and family, and it's not very often vacancies do come up with independents. They do, but it's not often. But with such as co-op, vacancies do arise. So take advantage of it. It's a foot in door. That's what I'd do. Take advantage. Go and work for them, find out how industries works, and once you've got some experience, you can actually move about a little bit. You've got some under your belt, haven't you? But first of all, choose what you want to do. You might want to do makeup, you might want to do embalming, you might want to do arrangements, you might want to go out on service. That's what I was saying. So your celebrants who take service, non-religious services, if you said to a family, would you like a celebration of someone's life, some people get really upset. A woman did on my page, she put her husband's funeral were heartbreaking and it was not a celebration of his life. Well, it's just a word. It means that nobody's happy that somebody's died, but they're talking about that person and all what that person meant to you. So it is a celebration of that person being here. I mean, with such as Ian Brady and Maya Inley, you won't have a celebration of their life, would you? And if you did it, it'd be a council tip, as far as I'm concerned. That's why they should take all vermin. Council tip. So don't let that inkling, don't let that little niggle about I'd really like to go into the funeral industry. Don't let it pass you by. You're never too old. You are never too old to join industry. A lot of times the older people in it, they've more life experience. They know more. I've got a lad, Trevor, who works for us. He's 70-odd-year-old, Trev, and he used to work at Bucklands. Actually, when he retired, he went to live at not Skeggy, near Skeggy, and he got a job there because he likes people. And then when he moved back to Sheffield, Trev come and work for me, and he loves it. I wish I could split him into 4. I'd love to get his DNA, because I would make 4 of him. He's amazing. He never lets me down. He even goes in and washes fleet cars, he polishes cars. He's meticulous with it all. I wish I could split him into 4. Same with Dave Johnson, who works for me. He's amazing. And he's just a normal bloke off Wyburn, normal kid. And he's only been in industry about 4 years. He's only ever worked for me. And now he's conducting for me. So your funeral director, choose what you're going to do, owns the business. Anybody that says, oh, I'm a funeral director, you need to say to them, well, so you own the business then? But no, I conduct funerals. Well, they're conductors. They're funeral conductors. And that's what Dave is, Dave Johnson. I'm funeral director because I own it. I basically, it means that Oak was wrong, I copy. No matter what it is, I copy. Dave's a conductor. He goes just like on an orchestra, and he conducts it. He makes sure that we're going to the right address, so he does a dry run and makes sure address. He does a risk assessment. Is there any steps at church? It's a really important and really valuable job to me, what he does. So he'll go to a church and say, you know, oh, we've got steps, Michael, 4 steps. Let me just let this kid go, because 2 lorries, oh, it's a recovery lorry. A lorry broke down. Anyway, choose what you want to do. Decide. When you've decided, speak to a funeral director. 23 minutes past 7, and I've got to turn off now, so I'm going, because I'm just about home. You take care, everyone. Look after yourselves. Have a fantastic evening. Next one I put on today, Friday, I might be slurring my words because I'll have got a drink. Follow your dream. For God's sake, follow your dream. Alright. Take care. Thanks for watching. Thanks for liking. Follow me and I'll follow you. Leave me a message and I'll leave you a message. Take care. Thanks a lot. Ta-da.